The moment I held my baby in my arms, I felt an overwhelming rush of love that I had never experienced before. It was as if my heart had expanded to accommodate this tiny being, and in that instant, I knew my life had changed forever. But alongside that joy came a reality I hadn't fully prepared for: my body. The physical transformation that had taken place during pregnancy was profound, and as I gazed down at my reflection in the mirror, I was met with a stranger staring back at me. My body, once familiar and strong, now felt foreign and heavy. The journey ahead would not just be about losing weight. It would be about rediscovering myself. In those early days postpartum, the world felt like a whirlwind. Sleepless nights blurred into long days, and the demands of caring for a newborn were relentless. I found solace in the small moments, watching my baby sleep, the way their tiny fingers curled around mine. But I also felt the weight of my own expectations. Society's pressure to bounce back was palpable, and I often scrolled through social media, comparing my postpartum body to the seemingly flawless figures of new mothers I saw online. Each image was a reminder of what I felt I had lost, and the journey ahead began to feel daunting. My first challenge was the sheer exhaustion that enveloped me. I quickly learned that the energy it took to care for a newborn was unlike anything I had ever experienced. The thought of exercising felt overwhelming, and I often found myself collapsing onto the couch during nap times instead of lacing up my sneakers. I had to remind myself that this was a phase. My body had just accomplished an incredible feat, and it deserved time to heal. I began to embrace gentle walks with my baby in the stroller, enjoying the fresh air and the chance to clear my mind. It was a small step, but it felt significant. As the weeks turned into months, I started to find my rhythm. I joined a local moms group where I met women who were navigating similar challenges. We shared our stories, our insecurities, and our triumphs, creating a supportive community that felt like a lifeline. One afternoon, a fellow mom suggested we try a postpartum workout class together. I hesitated at first, still feeling self-conscious about my body. But I also craved connection and a chance to move again. So I took a deep breath and agreed. The first class was a revelation. The instructor was compassionate and understanding, focusing on rebuilding strength rather than pushing us to achieve unrealistic goals. I felt empowered as I moved through the exercises, surrounded by women who were all at different stages of their journeys. We laughed, we struggled, and we celebrated each small victory together. For the first time since giving birth, I felt a flicker of hope. Maybe I could reclaim my body, not just in terms of weight loss, but in strength and confidence. As I continued attending the classes, I began to notice changes, not just physically, but mentally. I felt more energized, more capable, and more connected to my body. I started to experiment with nourishing my body rather than restricting it. I learned about the importance of whole foods and balanced meals, and I began to appreciate cooking again. Preparing healthy meals became a creative outlet, a way to care for myself and my family. I discovered that food didn't have to be the enemy. It could be a source of joy and vitality. Still, the journey was not without its setbacks. There were days when the scale wouldn't budge, and moments when I felt overwhelmed by cravings or the temptation to indulge in comfort foods. I had to confront my relationship with food, recognizing that emotional eating was a coping mechanism I had relied on for far too long. I sought support through therapy, where I began to unravel the deeper issues tied to my self-image and body. It was a tough process, but it was necessary for my growth. As I navigated my way through these challenges, I also found success in unexpected places. One day, while playing with my baby on the floor, I realized I could lift myself into a plank position with ease. It was a small victory, but it felt monumental. I began to celebrate these milestones, whether it was fitting into a pair of jeans I hadn't worn in months or simply feeling more comfortable in my skin. I learned to appreciate the journey rather than fixate solely on the destination. The months rolled on, and I found myself becoming more active. I signed up for a local 5K, motivated by the prospect of running for a cause I believed in. The training process was a blend of excitement and challenge. I learned to push through discomfort and embrace the runner's high that came after each session. I was no longer just a new mom. I was a woman rediscovering her strength and resilience. On the day of the race, I stood at the starting line, heart pounding with anticipation. As the horn sounded, I took off, feeling the rhythm of my feet hitting the pavement. The cheers from the crowd fueled my determination, and I found myself smiling as I crossed the finish line. I had done it. I had set a goal and achieved it, and in that moment, I realized that my journey was about so much more than weight loss. It was about reclaiming my identity. As I continued to progress, I became more attuned to my body's needs. I learned to listen to its signals, understanding when to push harder and when to rest. I found joy in movement, whether it was dancing with my baby in the living room or going for long hikes in nature. I began to understand that fitness was not a punishment for indulgence. It was a celebration of what my body could do. Looking back on my postpartum weight loss journey, I see it as a tapestry woven with threads of struggle and triumph. I learned to embrace the imperfections, recognizing that my body had carried and nurtured life. I discovered that self-love and acceptance were the true goals of my journey. The number on the scale became less significant as I focused on how I felt, strong, capable, and proud of my accomplishments. Today, I stand not just lighter in weight, but lighter in spirit. I carry the lessons I have learned into every aspect of my life, understanding that the journey of self-discovery is ongoing. My body may have changed, but it has also become a testament to my strength and resilience. I am a mother, a warrior, and a woman who has embraced her journey, celebrating every step along the way.